my experience with this book, The Whole Brain Child. So today I'm going to be sharing with you chapter 4, and as you can see, I got my book bound. Super fun. Staples and Office Max does it for like $4, so I highly recommend it if you guys are going to be reading a book and writing in it, and then I can flip it open and just refer to it like a textbook. I love it. So I only bind the books like this, the ones that I'm actually going to be using a lot. So I kind of wanted to jump in, kind of let you guys know I've been doing things a little bit different. So I decided to start doing YouTube versus Instagram Live. Instagram Live wasn't working for me. I don't know if it's because my phone is full, but it's not saving the videos, and so I'm not able to archive the actual videos. And so it's kind of a disappointment and a bummer because I spend my time thinking about this and really wanting to share with you guys, but also wanting to be able to save it so in case people can't watch live that they can actually see the replay later. So that's why I decided to do YouTube. So I want to jump right into chapter 4. This was a very unique, interesting chapter about memory. Something I really obviously didn't know anything about because I'm new to this whole brain development thing. And so every week is new and super interesting. And so today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about memory and the brain and how it works and why it matters to know this information to help our children. So memory is all about associations. So an association machine is technically how our brain processes something in the present moment. It's an idea, a feeling, a smell, an image, and links that experience with similar experiences from the past. So, sorry, my phone is going off. So memory is the way an event from the past influences us in the present. So I think it's so interesting to think about all the memories that we've had in the past, in our childhood, even as adults, and how they influence us now. So anytime we undergo an experience, neurons fire. They become activated with electrical signals. When the brain cells fire, they become linked with or join other neurons. So these links are called associations. So essentially, anytime something happens in the physical makeup of your brain, it's constantly being connected with other experiences. So they say neurons that fire together wire together. So this is something that I've heard before in the past, but I never really understood it until I read this chapter. The brain continually prepares itself for future based on what's happened in the past. And our past obviously shapes our present and our future, and it does so via associations with the brain. So the very act of recalling an experience changes it, sometimes in such significant ways. So your state of mind when you're encoded in that memory, in the state of mind that you're in when you recall it, influence and change the memory itself. So I'm going to repeat that. The state of mind that you're in when the memory is encoded, so that means right as soon as that memory happens, and the state of mind that you're in when you recall that memory are different and they change. That's why sometimes when two people share the same experience and they tell a story, someone might stop them and be like, hey, that's not what happened. And that's because our brains associate differently depending on who we are, what's important to us, our past, all those things that influence us. So we might remember a story differently than a friend or family member remembers that story. So the main topic of this chapter was talking about implicit and explicit memories. And if I can sum it up pretty generally, an implicit memory is something that happened in the past, so some type of experience that happened, and the memory is just there. So it's kind of like, they described it like puzzle pieces. So implicit memories are things that happened and you can't really control what your brain thinks about these memories. They're just there. And so they're just floating puzzle pieces in your brain. And so this is how they explain it. Implicit memories cause us to form expectations about the way the world works based on our previous experiences. So, for instance, if you have a toddler at home and when you get home from work, your routine is to hug your toddler, say, I missed you so much, how was your day? Your toddler is going to begin to associate you coming home with positive feelings. They're going to look for that validation when you come home. So when they hear the garage opening, they're going to instantly have implicit memories. So happy memories like, oh, mom and dad are coming home. They're going to greet me. I'm going to feel happy inside. All of those things are implicit memories. And implicit memories create priming, which tells your brain kind of how to respond. So like that example I just gave you, that was priming when the garage opens. That was priming your child to be excited, right? But this also works opposite as well. So if mornings are difficult for you guys, like mornings are difficult with me and my children, it might be my natural primary, what is it called? Implicit memory for my children, right, in the morning is that I'm always going to be like on them about time. Like we're always running late, hurry, hurry, hurry. That's their implicit memory because every morning when they wake up, that's how the atmosphere has been, right? Let's hurry up, let's eat your breakfast, sit down. Like it's just constantly feeling rushed. And so if I want to change those memories and I want my children to not feel rushed in the morning, then I have to set the tone and the expectation differently. I need to teach them how to turn those memories into different memories. And so that's when it goes into the explicit memories. So the explicit memories are going to be basically putting all of those implicit memories, the ones that you don't really think about, putting them together to formulate some type of opinion. So let's see what I said here. So what all this means for us parents is that when our kids seem to be reacting in unusually unreasonable ways, we need to consider whether it's an implicit memory that has created a mental model that we need to help them explore. So they gave this example here about this little boy who, well, he's not actually little, he's actually older, he's 10, and his parents want to start him in swim lessons, and not necessarily learn how to swim lessons, but like swim team, so he can be faster and better at his strokes. But he had a terrible experience when he was younger with swim lessons, and so when his parents present him with the idea of swim lessons, he is very resistant. He doesn't want to do it. He says, I won't do it. Don't make me do it. You can obviously see that he's fearful. And so what they do is they end up having a conversation with him, asking him what is going on with this swimming idea. Like, you love swimming and your best friend's going to be there. And so they kind of start to unpackage and unfold the reason behind why he's so fearful. And that's because in the past he had something traumatic happen where his swim instructors were very strict and they made him stay under the water and hold his breath. And so he kind of had a negative association with swimming. Even though swimming is fun to him now, he still had that in the back of his brain and didn't know and didn't realize. And that's what implicit memories are. They're memories in our brain that we can't really put a finger on. We can't really remember the moment it happened. It's kind of just something that's innate in us. Okay. Oh, so it says right here, certain memories affect us without awareness that something is even happening in the past. So what I thought was really interesting is they walked through the conversation that they had with their son about swimming, and they told him that he could talk to his brain, which is so strange. Like, I've never heard this before, but what a great example to teach your children that even though your brain or your mind is afraid of swimming, you can talk to your brain and tell your brain and reprogram the thoughts of your brain. So I thought that was really interesting technique and strategy to teach our children that we can tell our brain, thank you for trying to keep me safe in this situation. I know now that I can swim. I know how to hold my breath. Those teachers were strict. This is a new experience. It's going to be, or can possibly be different. So not letting the past basically dictate their future. So the mom uses a narrative to help his implicit memories become more explicit. So the explicit memories are going to be the full puzzle piece, all the puzzle pieces put together, giving that memory meaning so that it doesn't have so much power over them. So it's in this transformation from implicit to explicit that the real power of integrating memory begins and brings insight, understanding, and healing. So the brain remembers so many events that even we are not aware of. I thought that was so interesting because there's so many times when I personally feel a trigger. Like my child will do something or say something and then instantly I'm mad. And I'm like, why am I so mad? And that's a trigger. Something happened to me in the past that made me feel that way. And I don't even know what it is. And so sometimes that happens with our children too. And we just have to know that it's okay to talk to our brain and tell our brain it's not an emergency. This, maybe something that happened in the past is in the past and we can move forward. So we need to know when our children are suffering from the effects of past negative experiences, shine light on those and bring awareness. So it talked about the hippocampus. So that's part of our brain. And what it does is it works with different parts of our brain, takes all the images, emotions, and sensations of implicit memory, and it draws them together so that we can see the assembled pictures that make up our explicit understanding. So the hippocampus is actually the puzzle assembler. So I talked about how the implicit memories are like the puzzle pieces just floating in your brain, and the hippocampus is actually what's going to bring all the pieces together to make sense of what's going on. So lack of clarity about our own unfolding narrative, the explicit memories help define who we are. So the implicit only memories, again, those crazy puzzle pieces, they continue to shape the way we look at and interact with our here and now reality. So they give you a couple of whole brain strategies in this chapter about how we can help our children integrate their implicit memories, so those chaotic puzzle piece memories, and put them together into the explicit understanding of what is really going on with our life. So storytelling is the most powerful activity for integrating these implicit and explicit memories. So they talk about replaying over and over again and just walking your children through what's happening. I know I mentioned this last week, but a lot of parents, we just want our kids to maybe forget about it, move on, get past it. But quite honestly, they can't do so without talking it through. That's why so many people in today's society are seeing counselors, which I think are amazing. I think counselors are so great, but I also think that if we had done this with our parents maybe in the past, and maybe we had known all this information about brain development earlier, maybe we wouldn't need counselors now, right, to help us work through our problems, because we would have already had those skills and those strategies to do it with our parents in the past. I think it's so important, just even as adults too, to be able to go through and process some of those scary things that happened in the past, or maybe those things that make us feel insecure. So awareness is number one, and just talking it through and kind of figuring out what we can do and what we can change for the future. Okay, so remember, our goal is to help our kids take their troubling experiences, no matter how big, no matter how small, that are impacting them without their knowledge, the scattered puzzle pieces in their mind, and make those experiences explicit so that the whole picture in the puzzle can be seen with clarity and meaning. And then whole brain strategy, the number 7, it's going through the whole book. We've done a few of the strategies earlier in different videos. But whole brain strategy number 7 is remember to remember. So again, the brain is a muscle, and if we are not helping our children recall events in the past, they're not going to be able to have good memories, which I think is so crazy, because I hear so many people say, well, I just don't remember my past, right? Or I don't remember my childhood. I don't remember going on that vacation. And perhaps that's because they didn't retell the story to anybody. And so that's why having kids retell their experiences going about their day, telling them asking them to tell you about their day will help them build a stronger memory. So encouraging journaling is super important. Studies have shown that the very act of recalling and expressing an event through journaling can actually improve not only your memory, but your immune and heart function and general well-being, which I think is great. That's amazing. Another little strategy they talk about in here, which I think is great, because a lot of times we'll ask our kids, how was school? And they'll be like, it was great, or it was fine. What'd you do? Nothing. Like, that's just the classic example. So instead of asking like questions like that, like, how was your day? Because that just kind of gives them a blanket available space to say okay, or it was good. Ask them something like, tell me 2 things that happened today, that really happened today, and tell me 1 thing that didn't. And then you try to guess which 2 are true. And it just kind of makes it fun, so that they can try to think of something to trick you. I just thought that was kind of cool. And something that I read in a different book that I was studying a while ago was playing the rosebud thorn game. And so that's kind of similar, but your rose is what was the best part of the day. And then your bud is what are you looking forward to tomorrow. And then your thorn is what is something that you need to work on today, or something that happened today that maybe wasn't the best. And so just kind of giving kids a launching point for what they can talk about and how they can look back in the past and retell what they have been going through. So another one too, this is kind of similar. Give me 1 high point of your day, 1 low point of your day, and 1 act of kindness that you performed for someone. I think that is so great. Trying to focus your children on what they can do to help other people. And then encouraging recollection and pushing children to think more deeply about their own emotions and their own actions. And then just sharing their day with someone. I think just sharing in general, I know that we're so busy in today's society, and just making the time to sit down and talk to our kids and really listen and hear out what they have to say, because they have really important things to say. And if we're busy all the time and we're doing other things while they're talking to us, it's really not showing them that we care about them. So that was chapter 4. I am almost positive, yes, I'm more than halfway through the book. Can you see? So these chapters are super long, but I'm learning so much. And so I hope you guys are enjoying this. It's really crazy. I never knew any of this. And so I think it's so fun to kind of dig deeper into why our kids are the way they are. And just remember that they're really doing the best they can with the brain they have. So I'll see you guys next week. And if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Have a great day, guys.